Oh, look,
Because I feel like blue would just be
games.
so chaotic and so much fun to just watch them go absolutely crazy on it. We'll probably start with our arena camps first this
Yeah,
time.
let's see, because they all seem to start in the arena, like outside of the bases, and then
Yeah.
off they go.
Ready.
I think it's just a
Go.
force of habit with the team games. It'd just be
Maybe.
like, you
Oh.
can't, I can't
Look at the scoreboard. Just
immediately, everybody out at once. They might as well stand in a circle and play law. How do they track distance run? We installed pedometers into their necks while they weren't looking.
the packs can do it, is the short answer.
The very short answer without going fully technical is, the packs can track
do
that.
it. Okay, so we did have Moss have a really good start, actually back on top. Rudy also coming through with a pretty nice start. Not wildly.
Benny having a bit slower of a start.
Yeah, Pro Dizzle as well, a little bit of a slower start. Tiger as well. Obviously not winning those duels, or maybe finding themselves in the middle of no man's land out in the arena and just getting tagged in the back and not being able to actually get those tags off. It is possibly the main difference you see between playing around bases versus playing around the wider maze is bases you can kind of tell where you're going to get tagged from, and you can do something about it to some degree.
Really quickly. Game's going to be at green for most, but
Oh, who was that?
Who was that? Domshell again.
Oh, goodness.
What are you doing?
So green is busy.
Green is busy again. So look, we'll jump back to the arena cams because again, we're going to see a lot of gameplay happening out the front and the back of green.
Yeah. See back at green, which is where Shurikitty pulled that very, very large score last game.
Yeah.
And they're back there now. For those that are watching this and don't know quite there, on the bottom right-hand screen you've got there, you see a pile of tires in the middle of that screen.
Yeah.
That's basically just outside the what we call the back door of green. And you can see Shurikitty just got tagged as wandering off there. But they're all playing around that little bit and flowing into green and then out to the reload that's next to it as well.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I blasphemed and said that Benny was doing horribly at the beginning. He's now gone up to 5th. Thank you, Akira, for pointing that out.
And climbing.
Oh no, what have I done? I've infuriated him.
I said Moss started well and then sort of dropped off. Now Moss is winning. So if we was Rapid's not doing too good, and actually Rapid is having a bit of a rough game. Q Rapid tag streak.
You're just like, which one can I curse? Benny wins things.
Jellyhawk's doing really well here. You got your positive tag ratio.
Yeah.
Groot is actually doing a really good. This is, I think, probably Grooty's strongest game so far. I think from a starting perspective, I don't think he's managed to hold that.
I was about to say, I feel like Grooty's been sitting closer to the middle tier, like lower middle tier sort of area. And then during this one, he's doing fantastic. He's jumped up into that top 5. Whether or not he will end up holding that, completely different conversation.
Really interesting to see, and I've been a little bit light on this. Deimos, obviously, who's our player who's playing, literally saw the maze for the first time when he got here, when he drove here just before.
Yeah.
He's consistently, he's got more consistent as the game's gone. He's had a rough time of it, but you can see that tag ratio getting closer to that 100%, and going from there. So good on him.
Also, let's just put this down. Deimos, who qualifies for juniors, drove here from Canberra. As somebody who's able to qualify for juniors, which means 18 and under, drove here from Canberra.
Yeah,
is insane.
Good. He's a good guy.
As an adult wouldn't.
I believe he is staying the night. I believe he is playing doubles. No, Lord of the Rings possibly tomorrow.
Lord of the Rings is tomorrow, so we won't delve too much into that. But basically, Lord of the Rings is going to be for the entirety of.
I'll leave it at that. But I'm pretty sure he's staying for a couple of events. But it really is that.
We are very quickly going to have a look at our arena cams, mostly to see the game that's happening in green.
Yeah, I was going to say green's
a couple actually happening outside of blue. I did see a quick one near the TARDIS.
We still see massive amount in green though. And red is completely empty. So
I think people have sort of learned is that the moment one person goes to red and somebody follows them, you have almost every single one of them instinctually feels it and goes, we're going to red. Done. And then you end up just with so many people in. Deimos also had exams move to play juniors.
Member leveled up. Well done.
There you go.
His life is laser tag. Commitment.
There you go. So going back to scores for just a moment,
Yes.
Benny and Bones having a cracker of a game there. Rizzler not too far behind. Interestingly enough, Shirokitty's having a very rough game, relatively speaking, compared to the last one.
Yeah.
Despite, I believe, playing in a very similar place in A's. So we'll see in a moment.
Bro Dizzle sitting in last. My God.
Yeah, Bro Dizzle. This is clearly,
done.
maybe we're starting to see a bit of a change here.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this before. We make jokes about knees and things about for the Masters. Maybe the reason why we have juniors playing in the green base is the ease at which they can get down a little bit lower.
Yeah.
And that half height.
Yeah, which is going to be affecting your knees. And then also, it's great. Oh, he's playing with you in triples.
That's good to know.
But again,
Member
like
leveled
this
up.
is
Well done.
Masters, juniors, your breaks are a game. And then even then you're sort of like, I have to sort of like relax a little bit from my previous game and then get ready for my next game. And it can just be so daunting and there's so much going on that you're just sort of like, oh my gosh. Like by the time you get to your fourth game like this, you're sitting there, you're like, I'm really tired.
Yeah.
Like,
and again,
Well
a lot
done.
of mental load as well because you're trying to track as you go. I do wonder, again, you're going to have some of the juniors that are very more experienced than others doing that. The ones that are playing
Member leveled
longer and
up.
things like that.
Well
Go from
done.
there. I'm just going to flip back to the bases because
we want to see the three people that are actually in a base.
We are seeing a few people on the outside of blue. You mentioned that before. It is on the side, if you're looking at the screen, guys, on the left-hand side of the camera, which is where
Member
we are.
leveled up.
Behind
well
my
done.
big head.
That is, so the left-hand side of that screen is the sort of front end of green. So we can see some of the play out of green kind of expanding out potentially while people are getting sandwiched in between. They're kind of filtering their way back out. That said, green is still busy in itself and red is empty.
I'm about to say, it's sort of the decision that you make where it's, okay, cool. Is it worth going to a quieter area with a couple of people to sort of like get some easy
Member
tags? Or
leveled
is it
up.
better for me
Well
to
done.
risk getting shot a lot more, but also it's a high risk reward? Like you end up going to a busy area where there's a lot more packs to shoot. If you're quick enough and good enough with it, fantastic.
It's interesting here that we've got 30 seconds, so I'll just touch the scores and go back to this. But I was going to say Rapids pulled a bit out there and sort of crept back into that top four. Bones is having a great game there, but it isn't still fairly tight across the top there.
Yeah.
Jellyhawks managed to climb back up. Shirokitty did a little bit, but just isn't going to get the points needed. I don't think.
Well done.
Moss, who's had a bit of an up and down, is in the middle of the pack again now. And Bro Dizzle, who's had some crack games, has had a really rough one this game. So probably their drop game, I think, regardless of anything
Game
else.
over.
So
Please proceed to
can they
exit.
do enough with those other games to maybe see them in a top three afterwards?
I was going to say, so that's the game. Bones holding that top spot only like with less than 100 points. It's pretty decently close. Got Benny in second and Rapid in third. Jellyhawk having probably not as great of a game as he's had in previous games.
It's still a reasonable score though, so we'll see whether or not that affects that.
Jezebel, I want to point out, I think just about everybody here is surviving on energy drinks at the moment.
I had coffee, not energy.
Yeah,
drinks,
coffee.
but
It's got
it's close
caffeine in
enough.
it. Less chemicals.
517 meters is the run this game.
Ooh.
It's not as much as the previous
Bones,
games. This is like
Bones,
that's
you're not
like
going fast.
That's like Masters level run, Bones. Come on.
That's disgusting. I'm so disappointed.
Jellyhawk Rapid domination streak on Jellyhawk 5 on Jellyhawk. That's a little bit rough. Maybe that was the start of the game.
Yeah, I